What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a lovely day on your side. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. In today's video, we've got another suggested topic video, and specifically about sports, the three big sports: cricket, rugby, and soccer. What they can do to expand themselves more globally, to become more successful globally, and its future as well. There's future for these sports. You know, a lot of people are just watching sports right now thinking, oh, sports are so great. But we're also going to be talking about the future of these sports. What else can be happening in the future? How can they expand upon it? How can they make it more exciting? So on and so forth. But if you'd like to have your own videos featured in one of these videos, feel free to connect with us in the comment section below, over on YouTube, over on TikTok. We can connect there. We can talk back and forth, and I'll say, hey, I'll do a video on this, and we can go from there. But with the intro out of the way, let's get straight into the video. So today's suggestion actually comes from TikTok, from Swant Mishra. Apologies for being so late on this video, and also if I'm mispronouncing the username. But let's get into the comment here. It says, I was thinking, based on this video, try making a video based on the big three sports: soccer, rugby, and cricket, its future, and what they can do to be well known globally. And this was a video I made on cricket. There was a World Cup happening at the time, and I was following it. I was making videos about how the Proteas were doing their run and everything like that. And then I had this comment, and I was like, oh my word, this is an interesting comment. So thank you so much for this suggestion. Because I was always thinking about sports. I wanted to talk about sports, and this is a very interesting avenue to go down in terms of the future, in terms of global relevance about, cricket, rugby, and soccer. I mainly follow cricket and soccer. I'm not so in touch with rugby personally. I know from South Africa you would say, oh my word, you guys are the Springboks, you would be in touch. But not actually, I'm not the biggest rugby guy. But I was thinking, how am I going to do this video as well? So in this video, we're going to be breaking it into three parts, talking about the sports individually, and then we're going to talk about everything at the end, my overall thoughts. But let's get into my first one I have here. I've jotted down a bunch of stuff here because I was wanting to think about, there's so many things you can talk about, in terms of the future of sports and how it can expand its global relevance. But we're going to start with soccer because, that's the one that I follow the most. So it says here with soccer, I said promote international leagues. Now for me, the biggest leagues that I know about is the Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga, I'm missing one, La Liga, which is the Spanish league. Those are the biggest leagues that I know, and I'm not aware of too many other leagues like outside internationally, other than those leagues. And of course, in South Africa, you have the PSL, which I think is the Premier Soccer League. But I don't even follow that personally. But other than that, like I said, I don't know that many leagues outside of the ones that I mentioned, because those are the most popular ones. That's where the best players play. That's where the most things happen. A lot of people transfer to the Premier League. The Premier League, you could say, a lot of people say, is the biggest league in the world. It's the most popular league in the world. It produces the best football. But over the few years now, recently, a lot of people say Premier League soccer hasn't been as great. It hasn't been producing that many great moments. It's obviously up for debate. As a football fan, you can always say, there's always takes, on people saying this is that is this. But a lot of people are looking towards the Liga. A lot of people are looking towards Serie A also, how that has been on a little bit of a decline in terms of quality. And the Bundesliga as well. A lot of people, I don't know if you've heard this term being thrown around, called Farmers League, where basically they just have, I guess you have Bayern Munich, which is the strongest team in Germany, and then you have like Borussia Dortmund. Those two are the strongest teams, and then everybody else is just like, whatever. But I don't like to look at sport like that. I think if you follow a club and you support the club, you should feel fine to do that. You shouldn't feel like you want to side with a specific club because they're the strongest or whatever. But as far as the competitiveness in the league and how many leagues there are around the world, I think maybe perhaps they could be showcased more. They could highlight and touch on it. I guess that's why the World Cup exists, because you can follow the players like that internationally. But as far as the quality of the league is, similarly to what Cristiano Ronaldo did when he moved to Al Nassr, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. When he moved to Al Nassr over in Saudi Arabia, a lot of attention, a lot of eyes went onto that league, and I never knew it existed prior to him moving there. So something like that could be interesting, where someone moves to somewhere, a lot of people follow them as well to that league, and that league gets highlighted, and that league's talents get showcased. Also, similarly to, I didn't mention actually, the MLS is also something that just popped up in my mind with Leo Messi moving over there. He's also a popular icon in football, and he moved over there. Now a lot of people who are fans of him are now not fans of the MLS, but they're aware of the MLS, So, that could be something that could be looked to be done. I know also the FIFA Club World Cup is something that is being done, maybe to, showcase the different leagues, the different tournaments, not different tournaments, different teams around the world, and they're showing this because like they have different teams from around the world, Brazilian leagues, Italian, South African even. I think Mamelodi Sundowns, I think they were featured in that tournament. So a lot of people get to see all these different talents from around the world, and obviously there's the Norwegian league. There's so many leagues you can talk about. So I think that would be something that they can look towards, is definitely promoting international leagues. And my second point actually was the Club World Cup. I mean, just let me move this forward. Okay, there we go. Apologies. If you look, I understand that we are talking about like the Club World Cup, and a lot of people weren't happy about another tournament being added to the footballer schedule. But I mean, if you look at the Club World Cup, I do say it highlights, like I mentioned previously, a lot of international talent. Perhaps if they can, I mean, even in the Champions League is mainly Europe, So I know like even Japan's got a football league. But the thing is, it's difficult to, I guess, it's difficult to cram everything in a calendar year to do all this stuff. So I don't know about that one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But now, onto the future of soccer/football. The popularity, I think the popularity of football is like, it's on the sky high. I mean, it's soccer and football, like soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, is the most popular sport in the world, I believe. Okay? I think everybody has watched a game of football in their life. I don't know if there hasn't been someone that hasn't seen football anywhere, or even seen like a soccer ball, or even knows like a football player. The popularity, I think, of soccer players is so high. Like, you know about Cristiano Ronaldo, even if you don't follow football. If you know what I mean. Like, he's kind of broken that stratosphere. Same thing with Messi. Same thing with players like Pele. Same things with players maybe like Beckham. Those kind of players that go through the atmosphere of like, just like within football, they expand. And they go outside of that because like they become popular and they become almost like celebrities in a way. So I think the popularity of football is fine. And then also the type of football being played. I would say, obviously, we've got the standard 11v11. A lot of people are looking to maybe expand on different kinds of football you can play. Obviously, we've got like futsal. We've got the Kings League, which is something that's going on. I don't know who runs that. I don't know if it's PK or something, but I know they tend to experiment with something. And there's also something called a Ballers League or something that's going on in the UK. So different types of football can be looked, to maybe bring in a casual audience, or maybe bringing in a new flavor to football, because a lot of people just watch the 11v11 and that is the standard. But I guess you can always expand upon that. But let me know your thoughts on the future success about football, and also how they can expand to make themselves even more globally popular. But I'm going to jump into rugby now. And I think I said for reasons here, I said interesting tournaments. Now, I don't know. I know only about, the standard rugby. I think there's like 15 players in a rugby squad. And I think they get sevens, which is like a faster paced rugby. For me, I don't know. Rugby is a tricky one because I'm not too well versed in the rugby universe about like the players, the way the game works, the format, all the things like that. Is it possible to change it up a lot? Could they change the scoring system? Things like that. I don't really know. I also mentioned do big club matchups. For me, when I think about rugby, I always think about international fixtures. I think about Wales versus Fiji, All Blacks versus South Africa, or versus Springboks, I guess you could say. And then England versus, not Italy, I was going to say Italy. England versus Argentina. I think they have a good rugby team. I always think about international fixtures, but as far as clubs go, I don't know a lot of rugby clubs apart from stuff in South Africa, like the Stormers. But yeah, so I say I'm not too like clued up with that. So let me know your thoughts down below about that. If you guys are, making suggestions or things like that, or always thinking outside the box about the sport, like, hey, this could be cool for rugby. This could promote the sport more. More people will be interested in the sport if they did X, Y, and Z. Things like that. And then and then the future of rugby globally. How can they become more successful globally? I think they have a strong future internationally. I think as far as rugby goes, I think internationally is where, in my opinion, I guess, they succeed the most. Because I feel like when I always think about the Rugby World Cup, I know how much relevance it holds in the sport. And I always think about these fixtures, these like grudge matches almost, because it's such a physical contact sport. There's so many bodies on bodies type of thing, I think that is what is the strongest in my opinion. I don't know if the clubs will ever exceed the popularity of international fixtures. I don't know. You can debate me in that in the comment section below. Let me even know. I don't really know too much about rugby, but that's what I think personally. I'm moving on to the last one, which is cricket. Now, for me, I know a little something about cricket, so I got a few points down here that I'm gonna mention. And I got one here that's saying do interesting T20 events. Now, a lot of leagues and a lot of things have been expanding on T20 cricket, which is 20 overs cricket. Isn't something that's new. Well, I mean, it's relatively new compared to like Test cricket and ODI cricket. And it's a relatively new format, and that format was actually designed to spark a bit more life into cricket because Test cricket, if you're not familiar with cricket, Test cricket is over a couple of days. It's a red ball cricket. It's a long format. I don't really know what to compare it to, but it takes place over a long period of days, couple of days. There's things like there's things in there with different rules like declarations. If you hit enough runs, you can declare, and the other team has to hit off the score. Certain things like that. So I think the T20, because it's such a fast-paced game, I think it's good for a casual audience. I think it's good for a global audience as well. I think you can also look into things like the Big Bash League, which I think is being done in Australia, not in England. I think it's Australia. I'll fact check that. It's been done in Australia, which I think is 10 overs, which is an even faster paced cricket. But I mean, you don't want to get it to a point where we're playing 5 overs cricket and like a team can only hit 30 and you have to pay to watch this and you're like, oh, they only hit 5 overs. They only bat 5 overs. And now the game is not interesting because the other team just has to hit 15 runs. I feel like it comes to a point. So 10 overs maybe is the lowest that you can go up to. I also said special rules in certain tournaments. Now, as far as the cricket rules go, I think it's kind of malleable. I think you could do something where, say, for example, you play 10 overs, or if you play a 15 overs hybrid, you could do something like if you hit 2 sixes in a row, like say, for example, you hit a 6, right? Which is when you hit the ball directly over the boundary. If you hit a 6 afterwards like that, the ball directly after that, it maybe counts as 10. So you'll get like a bonus 2 points. Not bonus, not 10, sorry. You'll get like 15. There'll be like a 3-point plus. Because like if you hit 6 and 6, that's 12. And if you hit it in a row, you will get like an additional 3 points because it's like after each other. I think that could be cool, I don't know how else you could maybe do bowling, maybe do longer overs, shorter overs. Maybe you could do certain things with different field setups. You could do things with batsmen. I don't know. I think there's a lot, especially entertainment wise. Like I think you shouldn't do this like obviously in the serious events, but in the more fun, casual, not light-hearted, but like the more fun, casual, experimental type of tournaments, you could kind of like the Big Bash League, where it's like a separate division. I think you could do that and bend the rules and mess around with it. Also make it interactive for the crowd. I didn't mention in any of the other two sports, but I think if you make more interactive for the crowd at home and also as well in the stadium, like I feel like people want to feel a part of the game. Maybe you gotta do like a thing on social media where you connect with the players or you vote for this player to be the one to be man of the match or something like that at the stadium. Maybe do like a voting thing. I don't know. I think there's a lot you can do as far as sports is concerned, with tied into social media, and I think that is one of the aspects you can do to make yourself more globally relevant, for people to partake in the sport. And then I said the future, it says become more global for cricket. Now for me, I understand that cricket, it's not even a niche sport. It's a very popular sport. But I don't hear cricket being talked as much about as soccer or rugby even, I guess I could say in South Africa. But South Africa has a good cricket team, And I think it's because like the cricket is not, I would say it's not an easy sport to watch because I think the rules in cricket, you kind of have to be like in the loop of what's going on in cricket, like when you're watching it to know what's going on. Like something with an LBW, which is leg before wicket. Like how does that rule work? Certain things like 6s and 4s. Obviously, if you look at the TV and you see the scorecard, you can see there's like the score at the bottom. You can see there's wickets, but you get things. It's so technical. It's like wickets, overs, batsmen, fielders, the scoring system 6, 4, 1, 2. Sometimes you can run 3. And then also ways to get out. You can get bowled. You can get caught. You can get LBW. You can be run out as well. So there's so many aspects of the game. And I think if you're trying to have someone who's never watched the game watch the game for the first time, it could be a bit overwhelming. There's got to be something that pulls you towards the game for any of these three sports. You've got to be hooked, or something's got to pull you into to wanna watch the game as a casual, and then you can become a big fan. Obviously, maybe it's a player. Maybe it's a player of the game that you find, oh my word, this guy's doing something different in the sport that I've never seen before, and then you kind of watch him. So maybe it could be something like that. I think for me, like, as far as the future of all these sports, my overall thoughts on like this topic, it's a very good topic to discuss. So I think if you guys want to let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, I think we can have a good conversation about this. And for me, I think as far as sports are concerned, I think sports will always be popular as long as there's like players and there's a incentive to watch. Obviously, people watch it for different reasons, like entertainment, and they like certain clubs, they like certain players. But I don't know if there's ever been a sport that's completely fallen off, like that no one's watching anymore because they don't care about the sport. I don't know. That would actually be an interesting thing to think about. Maybe I might throw something up on the screen if I find like an information piece about it. But that's going to be all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. It's a long video. And also, I want to say again, apologies to Swant Mishra if I'm mispronouncing that, and also for it being so late. I'm so overdue with this video. But I hope you did enjoy it, and thank you so much for the suggestion. But with that being said, guys, that's going to be all from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Have an awesome day. Goodbye.